When Wade retired in 2019, he was largely recognized as the third best shooting guard in NBA history, and years later in 2023, his all-time ranking among shooting guards is up for debate, with many people now pushing for James Harden to be put over the Miami Heat legend. We're going to discuss and break down their entire career to see who really ranks higher all time. Wade came into the league being taken 5th overall by the Miami Heat in the 2003 NBA draft out of Marquette. Entering the league at 22 years old, Wade's game was a bit more refined as he was of course an instant starter who would already be an all-star by year 2, averaging 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists while shooting 47% from the field and 76% from the free throw. James Harden on the other hand was taken 3rd overall by the OKC Thunder out of Arizona State in 2009. Coming in at age 20, Harden had to wait a little bit behind the shadows of Russ and KD before truly flourishing into an all-star at age 23, but by then he was already traded to the Houston Rockets. Both Wade and Harden were all-stars by age 24, but that's not it. They were both all-NBA as well and also had championship experience. In year 3, Dwayne Wade led the Miami Heat all the way to the NBA Finals, which resulted in beating Dirk Nowitzki's Dallas Mavericks in 6 games. Wade became the 5th youngest player to ever win Finals MVP at the time, averaging 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Some people try to bring up the fact that Wade had Shaq. What they fail to realize is that the Shaq that Wade had was far and away nowhere near the Shaq that Kobe and the Lakers had. Yeah, he was still solid, but not the same dominant force, as he only averaged 14 and 10 versus the Mavs at age 33. So Wade was the clear-cut #1 guy on that team. James Harden, on the other hand, not so much. Harden was the 6th man of the year, averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists on the KD and Russ-led Thunder that would face the Big 3 Miami Heat in 2012. A team that was full of vets and championship and playoff experience to go around, the Thunder were outmatched and would go down in a gentleman's sweep. However, Harden as the 6th man had many solid performances throughout the 2012 playoffs, just he and the Thunder weren't quite ready for the biggest stage. That was Wade and Harden's early years. What about their prime years? James Harden was an MVP, 3-time scoring champ, 2-time assist champ, on top of being a 10-time All-Star and 7-time All-NBA player. In his best years with the Houston Rockets, Harden was the franchise guy for one of the best offenses of this generation under head coach Mike D'Antoni. In his 8 full seasons in Houston, Harden led the Rockets to the playoffs every time and even got 2 conference finals appearances as well, both of which were facing the Golden State Warriors. Harden was known for being an elite offensive force that could put up crazy numbers. The biggest knock to Harden's career, however, has no doubt been his performance in the playoffs. In 160 playoff games throughout his 14-year career, Harden has averaged 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting 42% from the field, 34% from 3, and 87% from the free throw. On the surface, that doesn't seem too bad, but there have been many notable times throughout the playoffs where Harden went cold and just failed to show up. 2015 Western Conference second round, where Harden would shoot 5 of 20 versus the Clippers, and after being benched by head coach Kevin McHale, the Rockets went on a 40-15 run to win Game 6 and eventually win the series. Very next round versus the Warriors, a costly turnover put the Rockets in an 0-2 deficit. Harden would later shoot 2 of 11 from the field, along with committing 12 turnovers in a Game 5 elimination to the Warriors. Rockets' backs against the wall in Game 6 versus the Spurs in 2017, Harden was 2 of 11 from the field and had just 10 points and 6 turnovers before fouling out, and the Rockets lost by 39. The next year in the Western Conference Finals, Harden failed to show up in the second half of Game 6. In Game 7, the game where an injured Chris Paul changed everything, Harden shot 12 of 29 from the field, missed 11 straight threes before going down. And there's many more too. Everyone of course has bad games, but Harden's inability to consistently not show up in pivotal moments has cost his team and has cost him a lot throughout his entire career. While Harden was no doubt the better scorer and passer, Wade was the more complete player. A 13-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, scoring champ, while also being 3-time All-Defensive that averaged 2 steals and was the top shot-blocking guard in NBA history, Wade's impact was felt on both sides of the floor in an era that featured Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, LeBron, Melo, and many more. He even has the most dunks ever by someone 6'4" or shorter. And when it comes to the playoffs, Wade averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, shooting 47% from the field, 34% from 3, and 78% from the free throw across 177 playoff games in his 16-year career. This resulted in being a Finals MVP at 24 and eventually 2 more titles later on in his career. His resume truly speaks for itself. Don't get me wrong, Wade has had bad moments in the playoffs as well, such as times in the 2012 and 2013 playoffs and other times late in his career, but as a whole, when it mattered the most, Wade showed up and was the more consistent player that helped his team win. Overall, James Harden is the better offensive scorer who will give you the big numbers and great passing, but has had many bumps in his career in the postseason that hurt him among the greats. And it's Wade who is the more complete player on both sides of the floor that will truly get your team over the hump and win a title, and that is why he ranks higher all time in NBA history. Like and comment whether or not you agree on my stance with Dwayne Wade versus James Harden, and subscribe for more videos like this.